Hi, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. I make videos about books. Please hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow. In this vlog, I will be reading 3 new releases I am so excited for. They're all in different genres, so that's really cool. I just want to read them, and I'm so excited for them. So the first one is Kiss Her Once For Me by Allison Cochran. Earlier this year, I read The Charm Offensive, and it was one of my favorite books of the whole entire year, and I read that back February, I think. And I am so excited for this sapphic Christmas gaze book, and I will be starting this today. This is a buddy read with Rye from Rye's Reading Corner, and it's also for Predictathon, so I am so excited for this. The next one is one that I picked up from Book of the Month, and it was not labeled as fantasy, more like magical realism, and I was really intrigued by it, so let's read it. And that's Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. Adrienne Young is a young adult fantasy writer, and I have not read anything by her before. This is her adult debut, and I am so excited for this. What got me for sure was the cover, and it just looked like a good add-on, and I was curious to see what she would write besides YA fantasy. So we'll be doing this one. And then last but definitely not least is Secluded Cabin Sleep 6 by Lisa Unger. I have not read anything by this author ever. I'm pretty new to thrillers this year, but I'm really excited for this one. This was gifted to me by Rye, so thanks, Rye. Lexi from Books with Lexi read this, and she said it is a lot darker than she expected, and I will be on the lookout on a certain page for self-harm. So just want to put that out there, that there are some triggering things in this book, but I'm still excited for it. The premise really intrigues me, and knowing going in that something might be triggering for me is going to be helpful. So these are the 3 books I will be reading for this vlog. Roll the vlog. I am 75 pages in Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. On the Book of the Month copy, it does say fantasy reads, but on the Book of the Month app, this does not say fantasy at all. It was more labeled as magical realism, and 75 pages in, it has not been fantasy so far. This is a small town that 14 years ago was ravaged by a tragedy, a fire, and a girl died. And the guy that they think killed the girl in the fire has come back because his mom died, and he wants to bury her in the town cemetery. And everyone in the town is not happy that he is back. One person in particular, Emery, who is the other main character, we're getting her perspective and August's perspective. August is the one who has come back, and everyone in this town is pissed off that August is back. And then we're following Emery, who was friends with August 14 years ago when this fire happened. So first of all, this is a full cast audiobook, and when I say full cast, I mean when I started listening to this, they shot off 15 people who were doing this, and I've only heard from 3 narrators. So I already love that. I love the atmosphere of this. I personally picked this up because it was giving me a History of Wild Places vibes, just from the cover, just from the description on Book of the Month. That is why I personally picked this up, and I was so excited because I gave History of Wild Places 5 stars, mostly, no joke, for the atmosphere. And I think that Book of the Month labeled History of Wild Places as fantasy as well, and it absolutely is not. So I could tell you 75% in, I am 75%, no, 75 pages in. I am loving this. The atmosphere is great. The characters are really good. And lastly, the writing is very atmospheric, which I really, really love. So I'm absolutely loving this so far. I'm not very far in at all, but so far, so good. So I'm 68% into Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young, and I don't know what's happening to my hair. I don't know what this book is trying to be. Is it a mystery? Is it literary fiction? Is it a witch book? I don't understand. I think the writing is really good, but the story itself is not. And I am really bored. And if I weren't so close to being done, I have like an hour and a half left of the audiobook, which is absolutely nothing to me, I would DNF this. But like, I was really liking it the last time I was reading it, which was maybe 4 days ago, when I put it down for 4 days for rom-comathon. And now that I've picked it back up, I just think it is very boring. So that's interesting. What is happening is 14 years ago, there was a fire and a girl got murdered. So are they connected? And like, that's the gist of it. And I don't think that this is good. I finished Spells for Forgetting, and I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. So on Goodreads, I gave it 3, which I think feels like too many stars. But what I did like about this book was the atmospheric writing. Like, I really loved that. It reminded me of Shay Earnshaw's writing, which is a compliment. But this story was like, I don't know what it was trying to be. Was it a mystery? Was it a fantasy about witches? Was it literary fiction? It was very discombobulated, but I just loved the atmosphere so much. But I didn't really like anything else about this, and the ending was so lackluster. Like, there was one thing that happened that I was like, ooh, we're getting somewhere, and then we went back to boring, lackluster storyline. So unfortunately, this did not work out for me, and even though it was an anticipated read for me, I am going to unhaul this. I think that this cover is so beautiful, but I am not going to keep it on my shelves when I definitely am never going to read it again. Another thing that I liked was the audiobook. It was a full cast. Every single character had a narrator, and there were a lot of different perspectives of Saoirse Island, and I thought it was great, and I'm glad I listened to the audiobook. But ultimately, I just, like, I'm so sad that this didn't work for me, because I thought it was going to surprise me a lot like History of Wild Places did by Shay Earnshaw, and it just didn't. So 2.5 stars for this one, and I'm sad about it. I lost footage that was supposed to be for Predictathon and like all of these other videos. So I have reviewed this once already, and it's just gone, and my Predictathon video is gone. So I'm here to review Kiss Her Once for Me. I absolutely loved this book. I read 200 pages of this book in one night on sprints, which was amazing. Basically, in this book, hold on, I don't know their names. Ellie has a one-night stand with Jack, who is a girl, and they meet at this bookstore and spend all Christmas Day together and completely hit it off and hook up. And then something happens, and Ellie completely runs away and never sees Jack again. And then a whole year later, she gets into a fake relationship and a marriage of convenience with this guy who owns the coffee shop that she works at, and it just so happens that Jack is this guy's sister. This is one of the best books I have ever read. I absolutely adored The Charm Offensive. It's going to be on my best books of the year video, so just so we know. I can't even tell you just how happy this book made me. I gave this book 5 stars. I think this is a great second book. by an amazing author, and I don't think it hit like the second book slump at all. What I will say is that I do think The Charm Offensive has better mental health rep. This does deal with anxiety and like being in your own head and putting yourself down a lot, but the depression rep in The Charm Offensive was the best mental health rep I have ever read in my entire life, and the anxiety rep in this one was really good. It just didn't compare to The Charm Offensive. However, one of the best sapphic books I have ever read. It does take place on Christmas, but it's not like Christmas down your throat, you know. I just loved this one. It went by so fast. I read 200 pages in one night and then completely just fell in love with this one. If you have not picked up any Alison Cochrane yet, I absolutely would suggest it. The Charm Offensive is male, and obviously Kiss Her Once for Me is sapphic, so this is an auto-buy author for me. I love the Christmas setting, and I'm not like a big Christmas book girly, so absolutely love this one. It was an anticipated read for me all year, and it really held up to the high standard of what this author is for me. So highly recommend Kiss Her Once for Me. I'm sorry I lost my footage. I'm sorry if this review is bad. I'm losing it. Okay, so I'm on page 71 of Secluded Cabin Sleep 6 by Lisa Unger. Already it seems slow, and I am aware that this is not getting great reviews, but I am still hopeful. I'm hopeful about every book that I pick up. That's why I picked up. So let me tell you a little bit about it. I'm just going to read you the inside cover, a little bit of it. 3 couples rent a luxury cabin in the woods for a weekend getaway to die for in this chilling locked room thriller. What could be more restful, more restorative than a weekend getaway with family and friends? An isolated luxury cabin in the woods complete with spectacular views, a hot tub, and personal chef. Hannah's loving and generous tech mogul brother found the listing online. The reviews are stellar. It's his birthday gift to Hannah and includes their spouses and another couple. The 6 friends need this trip with good food, good company, and lots of R&R, far from the chatter and pressure of modern life. But the dreamy weekend is about to turn into a nightmare. A deadly storm is brewing. The rental host seems to be a little too present. The personal chef reveals that the beautiful house has a spine-tingling history. Okay, so it does seem a little bit slow, 70 pages in. I'm getting a lot of backstory of Hannah, who seems to be the main character, and she is a stay-at-home mom with a 15-month-old, but she thinks that her husband might be cheating on her, so she's excited for this getaway, but she has to leave her 15-month-old at home, which like I totally get. Mugo is the brother, and he's the one who has rented this cabin, and I don't know much about him other than that he is super rich, and I don't know anything about the other couple that is going to be there yet. The audiobook I hate because it's one narrator for all these characters, which is a personal pet peeve. We know this. Also, the pages in the book are like Bible pages. They are super thin. Like, the book does not seem that big, but the pages are so thin. This is my first Lisa Unger. I think this is her 20th book. So the fact that this is my first book I've ever picked up by her says something. But once again, I know that these reviews aren't going well, but I just want to update you. This is how far I am in this book. I plan on reading a lot tonight on sprints, and we'll come back with you tomorrow to let you know how it's going, but we'll see. Okay, so somehow I ended up really liking this. It wasn't perfect, but like somewhere around the 60% mark. I couldn't put it down, and I was like, what is happening? Because it's 2 different storylines, and it was really confusing at first, and I was like, this has to tie together, right? And it does. But I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I really thought I was gonna give it like 2 stars, but it pulled it together for me, you know? Like, I liked I like this. I do think that the cover and the title don't go well with what is actually happening in this book. This makes it look like a very snowy setting. It's literally in Georgia and it's a like hurricane. It's not anything to do with snow. So that's interesting. I don't think this was the right concept for the book. I think if it was called something else and the cover looked like literally anything else, then maybe people wouldn't be so mad about what it actually turned into. There's also like it takes place mostly in 2018, and there is a lot of information with genealogy, edit. And I really thought that that was interesting, but the way it is woven in wasn't my favorite. So I don't know, like, I'm really trying hard to defend this book, but there are obviously things that I didn't love about it. So yeah, I don't know. In conclusion, I gave Kiss Her Once for me 5 stars. That was amazing. Anything else in Cochrane writes, I will read immediately. I gave Spells for Forgetting, wish I could forget that book, 2.5 stars. Don't recommend it. So boring. And then Secluded Cabin Sleep 6, 4 stars. Overall, I think this went pretty well. I really liked this video, just getting to my anticipated anticipated books a little bit faster than I normally would. Normally, I just let them sit there and fester, and then they're not new releases anymore. So be on the lookout for videos like these a lot more in the future. But thanks for watching my video. See you in my next one. Bye!